Hello and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Remember to follow this broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Now let's begin with news from South Korea, where President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's readiness to become a global hub for sustainable manufacturing and distribution of vaccine and biological pharmaceuticals in support of the far-reaching measures towards keeping all of mankind safe. Speaking at the first World Bio Summit in Seoul, South Korea, the president, however, made a case for speedy takeoff of the mRNA vaccine technology project, which he described as critical to global health security. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The summit with the theme, The Future of Vaccines and Biohealth, is jointly organized by the government of South Korea and the World Health Organization, with hundreds of health experts and global enterprises in attendance. It provides a rare opportunity for productive engagement on ways to boost global cooperation in the development of vaccines in preparation for future pandemics, reflecting on lessons learned from COVID-19. Already, the Republic of Korea is hosting WHO's first global training hub for biomanufacturing, which President Yoon Suk-yeol promised will be a game changer.
We hope that this world-class training center will help to build crucial capacity in the production of vaccines and biologics in countries around the world. And Your Excellency, President Buhari's presence will help in strengthening the cooperation between high and low and middle income countries.
I am confident that dynamic leaders like yourselves who are present here can catalyze partnership to take the future of vaccine and biohealth to soaring new heights. Let us work together to realize a better future for all.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, the summit most importantly opens up global conversation at high levels of government on measures that are expected to forestall recurrence of the unpleasant experiences that low and middle income countries in Africa and Asia in particular had to endure with regard to access to vaccine during the COVID-19 pandemic.
COVID-19 actually threatened and continues to threaten all of mankind with no regard for race, region, or economic standing. We must step up as leaders in desperate need of healing and repair to begin to have the difficult conversations about a future which we must be better prepared for in order to avoid further devastation to our lives, livelihoods, and physical environment.
The president, who takes pride in the concerted efforts by the Nigerian government to mitigate the impact and curtail the spread of the virus on the nation's health systems, described as welcoming the mRNA technology transfer project as a strategy towards increasing vaccine production capacity in underserved regions and thus promoting global health security. Nigeria is one of the 6 African countries selected to host the mRNA vaccine technology transfer hub to scale up the production and access to vaccines for COVID-19 and other diseases in the low and middle income countries.
Nigeria is ready and able to offer itself for this initiative. So we shall continue to explore bilateral, multilateral, and other opportunities for cutting-edge technology as a global hub for sustainable manufacturing and distribution of vaccine and biological pharmaceuticals to support initiatives to keep all of mankind safe.
President Buhari said with the mRNA technology, diseases that have plagued sub-Saharan Africa and the third world countries for centuries, especially malaria, Ebola and Lassa fever, would be addressed.
We would like to urge for the speedy takeoff of this project in the interest of global health security.
While pledging Nigeria's full commitment and support to the noble objectives of the Bio Summit, the President hopes that this courageous partnership will be sustained for the sake of mankind. From Seoul, South Korea, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has attributed the devastating effects of flooding being experienced in parts of the country to the negative fallout of climate change. This was while granting audience to the former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on the sidelines of the first World Bio Summit in Seoul, South Korea. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The former UN Secretary General, who is the chair of Ban Ki-moon Foundation for Better Future and strong advocate for climate change remediation, is here to sympathize with President Muhammadu Buhari over the catastrophic flooding affecting most parts of Nigeria. He told the president that his global center on adaptation is trying to mobilize resources to help developing countries fight climate change and urge donor countries to fulfill their financial commitments to the Global Fund. Mr. Ban Ki-moon thanked the president for attending the World Bio Summit, saying his presence would highlight the importance of global action and cooperation in the development of vaccines and technology to meet the huge threat and challenges of pandemics. President Buhari, who appreciated the former UN scribe for the show of sympathy, expressed delight with the cooperation existing between his country and the Republic of Korea, especially in the area of energy, citing gas exports to the Asian country. Describing education and healthcare development as critical investments for a sustainable future, the President and his guests also discussed the role of gender equality towards attaining a prosperous society and called for an end to the war in Ukraine. From Seoul, South Korea, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
A total of 87 graduates at the 2022 National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies, University of Benin Convocation, have been implored to apply the knowledge acquired at the institute to build a vibrant democracy in Nigeria in messages from the President of the Senate and Speaker House of Representatives at the 6th convocation of the institute. John Yaku reports.
The 2022 convocation ceremony is for the 2020-2021 academic session. 30 graduates are Masters in Legislative Studies, 19 Masters in Parliamentary Administration, 13 Masters in Law, Election and Party Politics, 18 Masters in Law, Legislative Drafting, 11 postgraduate diplomas in Elections and Party Management, as well as 6 higher national diplomas in official reporting.
The faculties and manpower that have been provided by the authorities are cutting edge and second to none.
Today's convocation is a consolidation of the successes recorded in the past years.
Our courses that are not readily available in higher institutions. It means they are specialized courses.
Former Speaker, House of Representatives Dimeji Bankole, in a lecture titled Legislative Turnover, Implications for Good Governance, harped on the need to elect and invest in legislators in a sustainable way to impact the nation, given the cost implications.
At the National Assembly level, 70% will not come back. At the state level, maybe around 70-80% will not come back. At the local government level, almost 90 to 95% will not come back. So all our investments in these people, mostly young people.
The National Assembly agrees that nothing uplifts a nation more than education.
Always to remember that the task of nation building succeeds through the dedicated efforts of citizens working in every capacity to ensure the nation lives up to its potential. The period between now and the elections, and between the elections and the handing over in May 2023, are critical. NILs and other leading democratic institutions are responsible for intervening positively to ensure the success of our elections.
Here are the excitements of the graduates.
I thank God that He has given me the ability to come tops in my class.
Oh, I dedicate this victory to my family. The knowledge I have, the one that's been impacted, will definitely be useful in and outside the NTA.
Best graduating students.
Congratulations.
In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has identified sites for the development of more hydropower plants along the Benue River Basin and Niger River. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu says this is in line with Nigeria's energy transition plan to diversify renewable energy towards achieving net zero gas emission. Joshua Uchito reports.
Nigeria currently has 4 hydropower plants generating 2,380 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. For a country with huge hydropower potential, this resource is underutilized. The government is having a rethink set to take full advantage of this natural endowment. New sites for small, medium and large hydropower plants identified in Taraba, Adamawa, Benue, Anambra and Kogi states, with studies carried out. While the conversation continues among hydropower experts on the need to construct more dams for electricity generation, Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu, represented at the dialogue, says 3 new hydropower plants already completed and will soon be connected to the national grid.
The government in recent times is embarking on several hydropower projects which are at various levels of development in order to harness hydro resources in the country. Among these are today 700 megawatts. This will be commissioned by first quarter of 2023.
The generation capacity in the country is low. So if we can take other sources of energy, maybe like solar, like biomass, and all that, and also add hydro, which is a major base load, it will be good for this country.
Nigeria's energy transition at inclusive growth through renewable energy and hydropower generation is the theme of the conference. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Thank you, Joshua. Let's now join Adiola in the Center of Excellence for more on Nationwide. Over to you, Adiola.
Thank you, Najatu, and welcome to Lagos. Effective implementation of the recommendations by the NSAS Judicial Panel requires the establishment of independent human rights committee rather than place the responsibility on the shoulders of the Office of the Public Defender. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana stated this at a one-day public hearing organized by the Committee on Judiciary, Public Petitions, Human Rights and LASEG on a law to amend Office of the Public Defender Law 2015 in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports.
The promise by the Lagos State government to implement the recommendations by the Justice Okuobi-led panel on NSAS necessitated the move to amend the Office of Public Defender Law to accommodate Human Rights Committee in its fold. Human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, however, argued that only an independent Human Rights Committee can help enforce the rights of those victims of NSAS as contained in the panel report. He also recommended that members of the armed forces should be included in the composition of the Human Rights Committee.
It's important to have the members of the armed forces, each of them, Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force. Very important, so that complaints can be taken to their own agencies. Sometimes the police wants to arrest a soldier for violating human rights. It's difficult.
Other stakeholders took turn to make their contributions.
Human rights violation, it's a greater dimension, and hope it is ready to take up the responsibility as long as we're equipped to do so.
This OPD, whatever can, that human rights, the committee can become a commission later, and little by little we are giving them that right. When they are commissioned, they are still having they're still having that freedom to do whatever they want to do, but on the guidance of the state, because they need funding.
The Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions and LASIEC promised to widen consultation and request memorandum from non-governmental organization on human rights protection on the OPD Amendment Bill. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian Army is awakening the leadership competency of its senior non-commissioned officers with a view to improve their tactical presence while operating in a joint environment. At the opening of a 2-day workshop in Lagos, the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Obinna Ajunwa, expressed optimism that the Leadership Awareness Development course will provide solid platform for strengthening national security and defense. Michael Olaleye reports.
One lesson the Nigerian Army has learned from its counter-insurgency operations is that where senior non-commissioned officers hold vital qualities to lead, communication will not only be seamless, but proper execution of operational mandates will be enhanced.
I involve in administration.
This Leadership Awareness Development course is not just aimed at redirecting the minds of senior non-commissioned officers to the missing links, but motivate them on translating strategies to winnable tactics in any operation.
The course is expected to bridge the gap between officers and senior NCOs.
With 70 participants cutting across the Navy, Customs, Civil Defense and others, the General Officer Commanding 81 Division tasked the workshop to draw up acceptable procedures in achieving operational goals.
Collaboration of this nature is very important for our joint operations. This can be achieved by upholding the command pillars of professionalism, readiness, administration and cooperation in steering the affairs of all our agencies.
The course, organized by the Nigerian Army Resource Center, is expected to reshape the orientation of officers in such a manner that missions are well understood and properly delivered.
We are trained, but the tendency of waiting for somebody to tell them what to do is what we want to stop. You must know by right, by your training, by your status, that I need to do this.
While the Nigerian Army is expanding the scope of the leadership training across the country, there is a new sense of belief from officers that counterinsurgency and joint operations will take a new dimension. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Felicia in Jos after this break. But do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.nj/live. We'll be right back to stay with us.
You are still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Welcome to Jos. Hundreds of people in the central zone of Plateau State are benefiting from a free eye care program supervised by consultants from the Jos University Teaching Hospital. Caleb Kochin has details.
This crowd at a facility like this is not a regular one, as those assembled here have come with great expectations following the opportunity given them by this organization to have their eye, this all-important organ, checked. From the registration to the point of consultancy and treatment, the team is up and doing to ensure that each person is attended to promptly, with beneficiaries describing the gesture as overwhelming.
Everything that affects the eyes affects the body. So my expectation is to get a brighter sight after receiving the medicine.
In fact, we are very happy. When we see people now can recognize somebody this time. Before I only see woman being like a spirit only.
How are the medical personnel coping with such a huge task?
everything is well coordinated. Let them always be coming back for checkups.
We have a special instrument that we come with that screens everybody for glaucoma. But after the consultation, some go for glasses, some go for drugs, and others come for surgeries.
We have observed that in 2 of the local government, the eye problem is the major problem of our people. So because of that, they see that is the need to meet the demand, especially that concerns the health of our citizens.
Over 200 cataract surgeries and others are expected to be carried out. Glaucoma patients screened, with about 200 reading glasses to be given free. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
A team of experts from the West African Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science has carried out assessment tour of facilities at the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology Science, Jos, for accreditation of some programs. Ndenyang and Deavagang reports.
Established in 1954 in Lagos and relocated to Jos in 1978, the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology is mandated to train and retrain medical laboratory professionals and research in the country. The institution, which is under the direct supervision of the Federal Ministry of Health, is witnessing tremendous human capital, infrastructural, and legal framework changes. Management of the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology is seeking approval for the institution to train postgraduate fellowship of medical laboratory scientists within the West African sub-region.
We are equipped in terms of human resource, in terms of infrastructure, and then the means of sustenance is also there.
This request necessitated a visit by the accreditation team from the West African Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science to assess the facilities in health institutions in Jos.
We are very impressed so far. We believe the basic facilities to support the minimum training look feasible. And then even though this is not the final authority, but we believe that we can carry a positive feedback.
Management of the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology is looking forward for the domiciliation of the college for training of clinical chemistry, hematology, and blood transfusion science, among others. In Jos, Ndenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. Let's rejoin Najatu in Abuja. Najatu, over to you.
Thank you, Felicia. Welcome back to our Abuja studios. We're starting with civil service matters. An efficient and effective service delivery in the federal civil service has for long been constrained by many problems associated with corruption, as contained in the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folasade Yemieson's message to the opening of a one-day anti-corruption and transparency unit sensitization program for the Directorate, officers grade level 15 to 17 in the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Hamman Jabani reports.
The training is part of efforts to drive awareness and identify existing gaps in the anti-corruption initiatives that have been put in place by the present administration. It is also to sensitize public officers on the need to promote transparency, discipline, and accountability in the service. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folasade Yemiesson, represented said it has become imperative to make deliberate efforts to address the menace of corruption that has continued to portray Nigeria in a bad light, and that the federal government, through the Office of the Head of Service, had considered and approved the request of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission on the establishment of Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit in all ministries, extra-ministerial departments and agencies.
The Office of the Head of Civil Service will ensure compliance of other MDs with the directives to establish and strengthen the anti-corruption and transparency units towards redeeming the image of the service towards achieving sustainable development.
NCPC chairman, who was represented, said the mandate of Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit is to review on periodic basis the system, procedures and operations of stakeholders. Urge civil servants to be agents of change in the discharge of their duties and be good ambassadors of the service. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Similarly, the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy is taking stock of its activities, itemizing areas of success and noting areas of strengthening efforts as it drives the nation's digital transformation. Chindima Undubisi reports that this is as the third edition of Digital Nigeria Day kickstarts.
18.44% contribution to the nation's GDP in the second quarter of 2022. Remittance of 594 billion naira as against 51 billion in 2019 is a great step forward. Assessment obtained at the just concluded ministerial retreat showing scorecard of above excellent marks in 8 key areas of mandate, including 4G network nationwide deployment, broadband penetration, among others, launches the nation as high-ranking at the global scene.
Look at the 5G we did. 2 auctioning we were able to deliver per spectrum 273 million USD instead of 70 million USD. We increased the database from less than 40 in 15 years to more than 90 million. Of recent, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the best university in the world, sent an email to us. They want to engage us to learn from what we have been doing in Nigeria.
This is the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy's story since its redesignation 3 years ago, as it starts to mark Digital Nigeria Day 2022 on Tuesday.
So this year's event is going to be hybrid. We have a Digital Nigeria conference app, which you can download and follow all events online.
It's a celebration of milestones reached and an avenue to map out strategies for sustaining the momentum and attain greater digital heights. In Abuja, Chindima Undubisi, NTA News.
And still on tech matters, the Nigerian Communications Commission and cybersecurity experts are educating Nigerians on the gains of embracing emerging technologies, which are creating global economic opportunities while maintaining a secure cyberspace. Again, Chindima Undubisi reports.
Fourth industrial revolution ongoing. Everyone seems on a journey to fifth generation. The digital era has come to the rescue. New technologies such as blockchain and metaverse are redefining content, economic transactions, and commerce.
Web3 now means that you can produce and even own. On my Twitter, I can post something, and if somebody likes it, the person can donate to me. So for posting something on Twitter, I can start earning money. So that's the era we are going. You don't have to break walls these days to earn.
It's just technological capital contributed trillions of dollars to the global economy and billions to Nigerian economy, world transformation and innovation.
While some people have become key players, others are reluctant to embrace creations on these spaces as a result of insecurities caused by nefarious activities of actors. Discussions here are to enlighten users of such platforms on how to protect their spaces and carry out secure dealings.
There's a serious cyber warfare going on, fighting against terror financing, and you want to cut away the funding of terrorism. Then you have to understand how you can mitigate, those transactions to illicit wallets, to illicit individuals, or if by any means it goes to them, on how you can investigate and stop them from spending it globally.
Experts say Nigeria's adoption of digital technologies has enabled diversification of the economy and created more jobs. In Abuja, Chindima Undubisi, NTA News.
Now it's time to join our Enugu Network Center, where Nina is standing by. Hello, Nina.
Hello, welcome to Enugu Network Center. 29 mediators of the 2021-2022 skills training class have been enrolled into the panel of neutrals of the Enugu State Multi-Door Courthouse. The Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Ozemena, charged the newly inductees to shun mediocrity and embrace integrity and probity, which are indisputable hallmarks of the profession. Kelechi Otiara reports that the ceremony was held at Justice Umezulike Auditorium, Enugu State Judiciary.
The Enugu State Multi-Door Courthouse Mediation Skills Certification Training Program is a platform on which the panel of mediators is built since the year 2019. Enugu State Chief Judge, represented by Justice Aro Odugu, said it becomes imperative as the traditional court system is encountering difficulties coping with the growing demands for effective dispute resolution models. A senior advocate of Nigeria, as well as the vice chairman, Enugu State Multi-Door Courthouse, ESNDC Neutral Screening and Selection Committee, who represented the chairman, reminded the new mediators that their training and mentorship is the first step of the ladder on their field of endeavors. While taking the roll call of the inductees, a member ESNDC Neutral Screening and Selection Committee, Justice C.C. Ani, advised the new inductees to abide by the laid down rules and protocols for international best practices. Certificates of participation and recognition were presented to the fresh mediators. In Enugu, Kelechi Ochiara, NTA News.
With 8 months as the strike called off, some public universities have slated exams to commence in a week interval from resumption. Chimaroke Ugo in this report examines the implications of resuming school and writing exams 1 week after on the students.
ASU's decision to call off the strike was sequel to the meeting between the leadership of the union and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, who called several meetings to intervene between ASU and the Nigerian government. The 8 months industrial action, no doubt, have apparently caused a total change in the syllabic calendar. It is against this backdrop that some public universities, upon resumption, passed a circular for immediate commencement of examination in a week interval after revisions. According to a lecturer at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus, the adjustment was to enable the educational system that have been affected to meet up with the original syllabic arrangement for the year, stressing that students will be properly reminded of what they have been taught before the strike action.
The response has been done. Even some of our students are being students. If you go up, you will see them being the students. So we have resumed. Our lectures will start on Monday. In honest, these lectures will go on for maybe 7 to 10 days. After that, we give 1 week for revision. Then after the revision, the exam. Then around December 3, we will start the 2021-22 session.
For the students, their duty was to buckle up and channel their energy on reading well, which will enable them to sit and do well in the examinations.
For us, according to some of my friends that are in final year, they say they are happy. At least they can buckle up and write the exam. At least the things is only about project defense, writing final professional. Then, but the people I'm the people that I'm targeting is the other level, the 4th year, the 3rd year, and the 2nd year. I'm not happy about that because all of them, they have a lot of work to do. I don't think they can cope within the limited time for the exam.
We've been doing it and we'll still do it again this time around. So, majority of students are very, very happy that we are going to start exam very soon, especially those of us in primary year. We are tired. We just want to graduate anyhow.
The students, however, pleaded with ASU and the federal government to provide a lasting solution to the industrial action hindering the educational progress of the country. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
And that's a bit from here. Remember, you can follow this news live online on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. Our Facebook page is at NTA News Network and our YouTube channel at NTA Live. We'll take another break here. Nationwide, we'll continue with Abubakar Musa in Maiduguri after this break.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide up to this moment. Let's begin with a cheering news from here. University of Maiduguri is set for resumption of students tomorrow after 8 months of industrial strike action by members of Academic Staff Union of Universities and their non-academic sister labor movements. Yagum Subuka reports that preparations are in top gear as students are expected on campus for the completion of the 2020-2021 academic session.
University of Maiduguri, like every other federal and most state universities across the country, were closed early this year following ASU strike, and later NASU and SANU joined, paralyzing all activities on campus. University of Maiduguri is now ready to resume for second semester 2020-2021 academic session on Wednesday, 26th of October, with students and the entire academic community warming up for full services. The Vice Chancellor, University of Maiduguri, Professor Aliu Shigaba, says, although they are bereft of funds, every possible measure is being exploited to get all components of the institution working.
The university does not have funds at the moment. Our IGR sources have depleted. It will not be out of place to request the government to give us some kind of bailout to the universities.
In preparation to reopening of the institution, NTA News observed that clearance and fumigation of the premises, among other activities, were ongoing in order to make the citadel of learning habitable for students.
I just come to school just to prepare for the resumption. It will be soon as possible.
As law-abiding union, according to ASU chairman, University of Maiduguri, Dr. Abubakar Michelia, they decided to suspend the strike based on court order, even though their demands are yet to be met.
It is our hope that our colleagues, our members, will be able to go to class and teach if government does its own part.
Resumption of academic activities after 8 months of strike action by members of ASU across the country is not only a sigh of relief for parents and students, but also an opportunity for lecturers to get back to business. In Maiduguri, Yagum Supukar, NTA News.
Very well, Yagum. So, and away from that now, to tell you that as part of efforts towards providing quality healthcare services in Borno, 60 newly engaged midwives and nurses are receiving training to understand the structure, system and services of primary healthcare to the citizenry. Organized by National Primary Healthcare Development Agency in collaboration with the Borno State Primary Healthcare Development Agency and other partners, the training will last for 5 days. Murjana Hassan will now bring us the rest of the story.
The training for the midwives and nurses was aimed at improving their knowledge on healthcare service delivery. Acting Executive Director, Borno State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Lawi Auta, commended the efforts of the State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, for the huge investment in the health sector and called on the participants to put in their best towards the well-being of the people.
This is a governor that 1 a.m., 2 a.m. he visits health facilities to see whether staff are working, they are saving lives or not.
Focal person from National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Bashir Nuruddin, said the recruitment was based on the directives of Federal Ministry of Health, with special interest on Borno due to the long decade of insurgency that ravaged the health sector.
I just urge the participants to please pay attention.
Other health professionals from both federal and state ministries of health lauded government for the recruitment and training of the health personnel, as it will go a long way in providing quality healthcare services in the state. In Maiduguri, Mujana Hassan, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories at this time from Maiduguri. I believe Naja'atu in Abuja is ready to continue from there.
Yes, Abubakar, if my veil behaves, I will be ready. Yes, I'm ready now. Thank you for rejoining us in Abuja. Now, the wife of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has donated food and non-food items to the Benue State government for distribution to the flood victims in the state. Senator Tinubu, who sympathized with the victims, gave assurance of government's resolve to proffer a lasting solution to the challenge. Moses Ode reports.
Of the APC presidential candidate was received by the wife of the Benue State Governor, Eunice Otom, and other government functionaries at the Presidential Lodge of the Benue People's House, Makurdi. Addressing the gathering, Senator Tinubu decried the effect of flood disaster across the country, and especially Benue State, which has negatively affected the people, leading to displacement of millions of persons. This and many more are part of the reasons for her visit to the state.
We came in here to give whatever we have to help our brothers and sisters that are in one distress or the other.
She further appealed to well-spirited individuals and non-governmental organizations to support victims of flood and other disasters across the nation. Dr. Eunice Otom commended the wife of the presidential candidate of the APC for her visit and assured of even distribution of the palliative to the affected victims.
For her having the mind and the concern to send relief materials to our people is something we are not taking for granted.
We are committed to a peaceful coexistence. The challenges we have in our country today will require all of us.
The food and non-food items and cash donations were formally presented to the Benue State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, for onward distribution to victims. Before her departure, Senator Oluremi Tinubu was hosted by the state chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and party supporters, where she made an additional cash donation of 10 million naira and other items. In Makurdi, Moses Ode, NTA.
Justice Aminu Garba of the Federal High Court sitting in Minna has reserved for another date on the judgment on the pre-election matter of Haruna Arfat Magaji challenging the qualification of Abubakar Lado into the various stages of contest for Suleja Orara Tafa Federal Constituency. Justice Aminu Garba says the court will communicate to the parties on the judgment day. Mokhtar Wowo reports.
The hearing of the plaintiff's originating summons, counsel to the first and second defendants, Abubakar Lado and APC respectively, challenged the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the case of the plaintiff Haruna Arfat Magaji. The defense counsel argued that even though appeal court removed Abubakar Lado from the Niger State House of Assembly as a member representing Suleja in 2007, another appeal court judgment in 2015 corrected the earlier verdict. In response to the defense preliminary objections, the plaintiff's lead counsel Mahmoud Abubakar Magaji SAN submitted that Abubakar Lado tendered a forged document to the INEC and lied on INEC Form EC9 that he had never submitted a forged document. While urging the court to dismiss the defendant's preliminary objection, the plaintiff's counsel asked the court to disqualify Abubakar Lado.
The judgment of 2015 did not ventilate on all of the issues that were raised in 2007. It did not expressly set aside the judgment of 2007.
You can still put the document and still be eligible to participate in the election. What disqualifies you is that when you forge and you go ahead to submit that forged document to the INEC.
Meanwhile, on the substantive case, parties adopted their processes before the court. Justice Aminu Garba thereafter adjourned the case to a date to be communicated to the parties for judgment. In Minna, Mokhtar Wowo, NTA News.
Now, the Director General of the People's Democratic Party Campaign Management Committee for the 2023 elections in Sokoto State, former Minister Yusuf Suleiman, has expressed optimism that the party will emerge victorious at the polls. Alhaji Abdullahi reports that the assurance was given at the inauguration of the Campaign Council in Sokoto State.
The Sokoto State PDP Campaign Council is headed by former Governor Tahiru Elatu Bafrawa to be deputized by the party's standard bearer Said Umar Obandoma.
The State Campaign Management Committee is chaired by former Minister Yusuf Suleiman, with deputy directors on publicity, operations, election management, research and strategy, finance, volunteer groups, security, religious matters, as well as documentation and reporting. Zonal campaign committees were also formed, with Dr. Abdullah Balarabi Salami as coordinator Sokoto East, Senator Ahmad Muhammad Machidu, Sokoto North, and Ibrahim Milgoma is to coordinate Sokoto Southern Zone. Federal constituencies, local governments, and wards level campaign committees have also been set up. Inaugurating the campaign council, the state PDP chairman Bello Aliyu Gorenyo appealed for maximum support to the leadership of the campaign council and the subcommittees from the PDP family. The DG Campaign Management Committee, former Minister Yusuf Suleiman, pledged to work hard to take the party to victory.
With Allah's support, with Allah's guidance, Sokoto State will reassure itself as the home base of PDP in Nigeria.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol believed that seeking people's mandate should be considered as the business of those who can mobilize support for the party to emerge victorious, saying vote seeking is an inclusive endeavor.
There is a need for us to come out en masse and vote for PDP so that we can reposition, rescue, and rebuild Nigeria together.
Tambol was emphatic that PDP supporters should engage in violent-free campaign throughout the 2023 electoral processes. In Sokoto, Naratu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the 6th edition of the Voice of Women 2020 conference has been held with special recognition of women with outstanding contributions to the growth and development of the nation. With the theme Towards Rebuilding Nigeria, the conference is geared at setting an agenda for an inclusive and accountable society. The platform is also to provide presidential candidates a means of interacting with Nigerians on how best they intend to put the country on the right trajectory. The conference also honors achievers of the women folk, including Fatima Buba of the Nigerian Television Authority, leading the discussion on top national issues. And up next is Sports Update.
Nigeria's under-17 women's football team, the Flamingos, will on Wednesday take on Colombia in one of the semi-final fixtures of the ongoing FIFA under-17